In the gym and in the car, with our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes, and talk about our sexy dates. We host events and go to clubs, but most of all we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme, just as well 'cause it's bed hopping time. Hello and welcome to episode 193 of the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name's Mr. H.
I am Mrs. H.
Thank you for joining us today. We have something to promote.
Oh my God, we do.
Oh, I'm glad that you've finally woken up to that thought.
Yes.
We are collaborating once again with Kate from Wonderless Swingers, right?
Yeah.
Them and maybe Daryl, who knows whether he's there or not, but definitely Kate. And we are doing an event called Candyland. Ooh, roll that around in your mouth a little bit. Candy.
Like a candy.
Land. Oh my. And this is a hotel takeover.
Yes.
And also a club takeover at Penthouse Playrooms.
It is on the 17th and 18th of January.
Yes.
I wanted to prove I knew something without looking at notes.
You can see that on my upside down notes.
No, I can't read your writing. It's like a dead spider.
What? My writing is delightful.
But I wanted to demonstrate to you that I actually know some stuff.
Well, the good news is, so what's going to be happening during this marvellous takeover then? There we go.
Yeah, well, in your face.
But there's going to be a whole host of wonderful, sexy activities, from room crawls to social elements to getting to know each other better to mingles to transport to the club, all sorts of cool and awesome stuff.
All the stuff that you normally would associate with one of our amazing takeovers.
Yeah, the feedback that we get for these events is absolutely fantastic. You don't need to know that. You can see that all over the interwebs. People love these things. I love doing them. That's why we're doing another one. And this is on, well, the main bit is Saturday, the 18th of January, right? If you want to come for one night, you can do that. You can come on the 18th. If you want to make it a weekend, you can come on the 17th as well. And if you just want to go to the club and just hang around with some cool people that have already been doing stuff during the day, you can also get a club ticket.
You're like one of these paid adverts that like talks really fast like this.
Maybe.
Imagine if someone listened to you sped up on top of your already sped up voice.
This is why I talk really quickly, because people frequently do listen.
You want to make it
they'll
like properly annoying for them.
Oh, you know how much it upsets me. If you're listening at double speed or time and a half speed,
screw you, because you won't understand a word he's saying.
You are not adhering to the vision that I have tried to create for this podcast. Anyway, the cool thing about this one is that you can get, if you're a single, you can turn your ticket to a single one. There's a discount and stuff for that. You can be a throuple, a quad, whatever you like. Get on there. There's going to be a link in the show notes, and it will jump you straight to where you can purchase your tickets. And it's all really flexible, all really cool. And I can't wait. It is the perfect, right? You've had Christmas, you've had New Year, you've partied hearty, you get in a couple of weeks and you go, you know what? Life is fucking shit. It's boring, it's blue January. Fuck that, I say. Come to our event and have a blast, because it's going to be absolutely amazing.
It's going to be a smorgasbord of pop pastels. Smorgasbord. So when you think Candyland, then I have in my head, I cannot actually get out of my head the amazing balls of the Willy Wonka experience that was all over the news a while ago.
Yes.
The terrible Willy Wonka experience.
Yes.
So I can't help but think that in my head. There will be no half full glasses of squash at this event.
No, we are. I cannot promise any glasses of squash. I know that Kate already has a theme in mind for our room. I know that we've already had some conversation about some of the stuff that we're going to do. It's going to be wicked. So yeah, we won't talk any more about it at this point.
Okay.
We may mention it at the end.
But we probably will mention it in the future.
Yes, over the next couple of weeks. But come along, grab your tickets now. We think this is going to be an absolutely fab thing to do. Yeah. And if you're brand new to this lifestyle, if you're thinking about trying stuff out, this is a perfect event to ease yourself in, to meet new people that are awesome.
To pop your cherry.
Yeah, and if you've been to one of our events before, come along again, because all those great people, they're going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. Anyway.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to be there, so.
You are, and I'm sorry about that, gentle listeners. I am. But
I'll be that sad face in the Willy Wonka experience that just looked really, really miserable all the way through.
Sad Oompa Loompa. She's got like a career in Broadway.
I know, she did amazing.
She's done very well.
Like the unknown thing.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the topic of today.
Let's do that.
So we asked folks what they want us to talk about.
Right. Not because we're lazy at all.
Not because we're lazy.
Because we want to do things that people want to hear.
Yeah. And one of the topics that came up was New Year's Eve. So we've had Swinger Christmas effectively with Halloween.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Swing of Christmas Part 2, which is New Year's Eve. So we're too late to catch the Halloween train. As per standard, and
of course,
yeah, that's fine. But we thought what we talk about is going to Halloween. See, I can't even get it right. Going to Halloween. Go in the past or wait along for a long time. No, it's about going to New Year's Eve at a club and what to expect, our experiences of it, and some of the tips and thoughts and questions that we've had from our listeners. Because I thought it would be cool to do this.
So like a non-vanilla New Year's Eve.
A non-vanilla New Year's Eve.
Although you could apply this episode, I guess, to other themed events that are seasonal.
Yeah, you could.
The approaches might well be the same.
They could, but I think New Year's Eve generates something of a sort of fever sometimes. Now, as a vanilla normal setting, right? Yeah. I don't really care about New Year's Eve. Like, it's anticlimactic. it's an expensive disappointment. It's all those things
you're really into it.
that you might associate with me. But I think from a lifestyle perspective, it's actually quite fun, or we've had some quite fun times.
It's very, very different. And you are right when you talk about New Year's Eve can be almost anticlimactic. This is anything but anticlimactic in that you've had the Christmas and, as you say, the undercarriage of Christmas, and then you get to New Year's Eve and you're like, okay, it's expensive. What do I do now? Well, so a lot of people do tend to just stay in and be in bed by midnight.
Now, I hear you, gentle listener, say or yell out loud, "Oi, you bedhoppers, what are your credentials for this New Year's Eve nonsense? Have you experienced any New Year's Eves with a lifestyle twang to them?" And I say, gentle listener, we have a plethora of different New Year's Eve style experiences that we can talk about.
We do, actually.
We do. So the first one, right? Let's just talk a little bit at generic, our experiences of New Year's Eve and how they've gone. And let's keep it brief, if at all possible.
You can't keep anything brief.
Well, yeah, I can. You've been to bed with me before.
Oh my God.
So the first one that I want to talk about, which I think was our first lifestyle New Year's Eve, was actually going to Ab Fabs.
I do remember this.
Now, if you've heard all of our podcasts, one, I'm so sorry for putting you through that, but two, so we went by ourselves.
Yeah.
We didn't really go with anyone.
No, well, we didn't really know that many people then.
So we thought we'd throw ourselves into it and thought it's going to be New Year's Eve. It's going to be epic. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if we were familiar with the club either, or whether it was just a convenient thing at that point. I probably should have done a little bit of research, but I do remember that it didn't work. I think for me, part of that was because we didn't have any friends with us. And I think that's a really good thing to sort of, when you're seeing in the new year, yes, it's wonderful to make new friends when you've gone to a new place and all that sort of stuff. I think that can be very exciting and quite euphoric. However, there's nothing quite like going to the club with your friends.
Or indeed spending New Year's Eve generally with people.
Yeah, and
it's always nicer with people to celebrate with, right?
It is, I think. But from our experience, going to a club with no one that we knew, it's not our favourite way to experience a club. And you just don't know what you're going to get on the night. And we found it was a really strange experience. It was kind of felt a bit hollow for us because we weren't celebrating with anybody. Obviously, we were celebrating New Year with ourselves, but we're also sort of like trying to find people to connect with, and we're also trying to navigate the club. So for me, that my thought was that I wouldn't want to go to a setting like a lifestyle one in New Year's Eve without anyone. I mean, great. If it's only one person that you go with, that's still one more person you've got a connection that you can see the new year in with.
All right.
How did you feel about it? Would you echo those sentiments, dear?
Yes, I would agree that as experiences go, it wasn't the best looking back. That being said, I don't think it helped that the club was not at capacity. It felt quite, not desolate, but it was such a big club and it was hard to fill it. You would have had to have absolutely gone crazy with ticket sales to make it full. And it just didn't feel like it was a full club.
I think that is the challenge with Ab Fabs. And
so big.
It is a converted sports centre that's been turned into a lifestyle club. And they've done a nice job of that. However, it does, for me, it's every time we've been there, and it may have changed in recent years. I heard it's had a bit of an upgrade and some detailing and all that's good sort of stuff.
Been for a while though.
But I think when we went before, it always felt a little bit empty, no matter how many people they crammed into, because lots of people crammed into like the disco area and it felt rammed. And then as soon as that countdown went off, it just like, it was like there was hardly anyone in the club. Yeah. And I don't think those people left. but they just dispersed amongst the whole thing, and it would never felt like it was truly a busy place. So part of that for me is pick your club, and also pick the people that you're going with.
I have a counter question for this though. So if I'm new to all this and I'm listening along to this and thinking, but I don't know anybody, and I still want to experience New Year's Eve in a club, I'm actually quite nervous, but at the same time, now what you're telling me is that, I probably shouldn't go alone or with people I don't know. Am I going to have a rubbish time? How do I find people?
Well, it depends on your style as to whether you're going to have a rubbish time or not. If you're one of those people that struggles to make quick connections like we do sometimes, then I think you may struggle a little bit. Now, I have heard people say that actually New Year's Eve is a very popular time for people who want to try out the lifestyle. It's like, hey, new year, new me. Let's jump in. Let's give it a go, as your favourite Gary Eats or whatever would say on YouTube.
Not Gary Eats. I'm going to get him on the show.
Is the Alan Partridge of eating
Gary
and
Eats.
reviewing.
Pussy.
No. Is that what you want?
No, God, no.
Is that what you want?
It's like a way new YouTube venture for him to go into.
I see. Be careful what you wish for, wife. Anyways, so I think if you're one of those people that's new and looking to dip your feet in, yes, it can be a good experience, but also it's not a typical club night. I think.
No,
but
it's not.
Certainly, I think there is an atmosphere there can be an atmosphere in the air that you kind of would regularly associate with New Year's Eve in a regular club. I think if you are going to go and you're kind of thinking, yes, we're going to try it out, we're going to go along and we're going to kickstart this new year with a new lifestyle, a new us, etc., etc., etc. My take would be to use the chat rooms, use the chat groups that every club seems to have, use the social media stuff, and find out who's going and get to know people a little bit, even if it's just online, before you go there. And I think that will help you on the night, because if you bump into people, you've at least got someone that you have some semblance of a connection with. I think if we were just going blank, I would really, we don't really do that with clubs anymore.
No, not anymore, no.
And it might be that that's totally your jam and you're very well equipped to deal with that kind of approach. That's not us. So if you're any way shy or sit in the corner, or you're predisposed to expect people to come to you, then it's probably not the space to explore that. I'd say get to a social first, try and meet people beforehand, or at the very least try and meet people before you go into the club. So can we grab a drink before we go to the club? Let's do that. And then you've got some friends that you could not cling to, but will help ease that pressure. So we did that, and then we flipped it over completely, right? Our next adventure for New Year's Eve was that we had lots of friends round our house.
Oh, yeah, we had a house party.
House party.
Yeah, that was super fun.
That was super. What did we have? 8-10 people, I think? Yeah. So not a massive amount of people.
No, but enough to be more than a gathering.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think it's really nice having your friends round, and then you can sort of style the evening around the group of people that you've got there and your interests and how interactive you are and all that good kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that. I don't doubt we'd be able to organise that for our New Year's Eve at this point. This would now take 6 months of planning, I think, to organise babysitting for people, to get everyone together.
Much bigger house.
Yeah, a much bigger house, but also, the amount of dropout that you get because life changes and life happens. It's tricky, but I really love that approach to New Year's Eve, and I think that's one of my really fun memories when I look back at our lifestyle career. Is kind of having lots of people here. I like to host anyway.
You do.
I do. And if I can make drinks and some food for people and, sort of encourage everyone to get on, that's one of my happy places. And I think for that New Year's Eve, that was a really good thing.
Plus it keeps costs down a bit for people, because you can presumably stay overnight at this house party potentially. Or certainly we're welcome to ours. So.
Yeah, 100 people sat on a floor, that's fine. But I think, even if it cuts out the cost of the club, you can still get cheaper drinks. You can still, or you can just
totally
use that money to buy other stuff and have a great evening. So I really liked that concept, and it felt a lot more relaxed, a lot more chilled out, a lot more sociable. But then we were just with us and friends, and I think that was really cool.
I think I liked the fact that you have a level of control over where the night is going, because you're the ones doing all the stuff. You're not reliant on what kind of music the club plays, for example. You control your own environments, and you can stop when you want to stop and take breaks when you want to take breaks, and it's all in a safe environment. So it is nice to have a house party like that.
Yeah. So our next one, so we flipped it again, and then we went to a club, but we went to a club abroad. we had Fun for Two on the cards.
I was just trying to remember. I think it was Fun for Two. I was trying to remember if it was New Year's Eve.
So we went to Fun for Two with Kate and Daryl.
Oh my God, that was super fun.
And we went, I think they also had a couple of friends that were going that night. So we kind of vaguely knew them. Yeah. It was a really interesting experience going to a club where there we found a lot of people do speak English, but obviously it's not their natural language.
No.
So there was a little bit of a barrier, I think, to that. And what we also found is that dancing was so high up on everyone's agenda.
Crazily high. We're not used to that at all.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily, I am of the wedding dancer generation, and that I'm quite happy to throw myself around on a dance floor like a 12-year-old at a disco. And there endeth my talent. I might be able to pull out a robot occasionally, but only because I normally have one in my pocket.
But I don't think that was the kind of dancing they were doing anyway.
No, this felt a lot more.
This was all like bump and grind stuff.
But I think it was more
like sexy dancing.
Yeah, electronic dancing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Not like clowning around and dancing to Wham.
No, it wasn't that kind of dancing. And I think it was really fun. I think that on that one, I think we didn't actually stick around to the dance floor till it went and hit midnight. And we didn't actually know until afterwards because we were all in a playroom.
Yeah.
And it was a really sexy.
That was super fun.
That was super fun. And that was a really hot experience. It was weird not experiencing that ball drop countdown thing on New Year's Eve, but we had a really super sexy time. So that, swingers and roundabouts, I guess, in this particular one.
And we did ring in the new year in a good way.
Yeah, we definitely rang in the new year in a good way. I liked the experience. I think it would be, again, I think I wouldn't necessarily choose to go to a club in a different country because that was a bit of a challenge in terms of making new friends, perhaps.
That's an obvious cost.
Yeah, there is a huge cost to that.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
And that's I'm not just talking about the wine that we inevitably drank. Although interestingly, when we went to that club and many of the others in Holland, is that right? That's right, yeah. They do give you drinks. So if you wanted a glass of wine, part of your ticket price included glasses of wine or whatever drinks it was, like basic drinks. So that did keep the cost down in that way. But obviously we were not monsters. We were going to drink some champagne or whatever during the day, and then we were going to have nice food and all this sort of stuff. And again, your food is provided, but you kind of want to elevate it somehow, I think. So,
but I do like what the club did that night. It was packed. It was clearly very popular. It was a lot of fun. It was really nicely decked out. It looked for shit.
Yeah, it was.
Frankly, it looked amazing.
The atmosphere was good. It was really busy.
Yeah.
It felt like a good place to be. I just think that for us, it was a little bit more difficult to have conversations because of the language barrier and because everyone was so focused on dancing and the noise. So there was that. So the following time, or the next time round, we were like, okay, let's go to a club, but in the UK this time. So we went, as you know, gentle listener, if you've listened to ones before, we went to Extasio in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And this time we went with a bunch of us.
Why did we go there? Is it because we knew people who were going there? Is that what swung it for you?
So I think that it was a selection of friends going. So some really good friends were going along to Extasio. I think that the hotel costs nearby
so cheap.
It's like 40, 50. I think you paid 60 quid to upgrade our room to like a business class.
I possibly could.
Yeah.
There is no business class, but I did get a late checkout.
Yeah, that type of thing. And so we had our good friends Secret Stag and Secret Vixen going along. I think there were other friends there as well.
And
we've talked about this on another episode. But I think it was like the power of the large group of us. The power of it being relatively inexpensive, the ability for us to get obviously pet sitters, that helps. And I appreciate that not everyone can do this because childcare on New Year's Eve is even more difficult than normal, right?
Correct.
Unless grandparents are not going out during New Year's Eve, in which case...
there you go, there's a flip side. A lot of people do tend to be like, nah.
Yeah.
All my festivities kind of go pre-Christmas or Christmas.
Yeah. So I think, the moon's kind of aligned for us with this one. And actually, it was one of my most favourite New Year's Eve experiences. We had some really good ones. But I think for this one, because there was such a large group of us, there was a little bit of sort of New Year's Eve hysteria, I think. And it was quite infectious. Hopefully it was the only thing that was infectious.
God.
But it was like a magic was in the air, and that everyone was like, yay, this is great. Everyone was off making different connections. Everyone was interacting. It was very celebratory. It was very I don't know, something was fizzing about it. And I think each of these experiences has been very different and very good in their own way. But I think for this one, because it's probably the most fresh in my mind, it felt closest to an actual New Year's Eve, I think.
Also, we didn't fuck anything up.
But, yeah, we didn't fucking, but
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything went really well.
Well, I think, I think outside of Ab Fabs, I think the other evenings had went without flaw, really. So I think New Year's Eve, our track record has got a lot better.
Oh yeah, much better.
But I really enjoyed the fact there were lots of different people there that we knew. So it always felt like there was someone you could talk to, chat with, despite my trousers ripping and all the other things that happened. I think it all turned into a really fun adventure. And we saw the clock went, the hits midnight, whatever it does, and they dropped the curtain down and all that sort of stuff. And it just felt like a really good combo of it all for me.
It was like a freaking food frenzy at midnight. Everyone just immediately started like kissing. Crazy kissing everywhere.
Yeah.
And I get that you get that anyway when the clock strikes 12 and New Year's Eve, everyone leans in for a little New Year kiss.
Yeah.
But this was like, oh my God. It was like the Pizza Hut buffet came out and everyone dived in.
The Pizza Hut buffet. It was a little bit that way.
But I maintain, I think for this, I think it wasn't then the actual club itself that was the deciding factor for you. Is more of this is where the group of people that we want to all congregate with again is heading. We all seem to be heading to this area. This is going to be a great night. And the club just happened to be in this particular club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that worked really well. So much so that we're going back there this year. That's our plan.
We've booked it and the hotel. It's all done.
So I think
very excited. Already a very big group going.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing, in that we know there's a bunch of people going and heading that way. So for me, it makes sense to do that, to spend time with the people that we give a shit about and to kind of see the new year in a nice way. The club itself was very nice, very accommodating. It was it's well kept. I kind of like the club. Getting in is a bit of a pain, and their process around thruples and quads and stuff is shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So if you're a thruple,
could do better.
They will charge you through the roof for your single. If you've got two guys in that, they'll essentially treat the other guy as a single guy. And I think that's really difficult.
I agree.
And I do have some issues around that, and it would be remiss of me not to mention them. However, for the vast majority of what they do, it's a really good club and it works really well. Yeah.
And it's going to be another fun night.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to it.
That is my hope. We've got our cheap hotel booked. We're going to travel up. We've got pet care sorted. So I think I'm hoping for another really fun night,
You're going to reinforce your trousers.
Yes. I don't know what trousers I'm wearing. In my head, for some reason, it's because we've watched a lot of John Wick lately that I'm thinking like a John Wick style suit.
Well, this would be perfect, babe, because, you reliably informed me that he actually has a Kevlar reinforced suit.
Yes, that would
which
be
I didn't realise. This would be perfect for you.
But only in like the third and
in the crotch area.
It's, he lifts his jacket up to protect his eyes and face and stuff.
Well, we can reinforce the crotch of your trousers.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure that's
against the adoring thongs of women, hurling themselves at you and apparently trying to remove your trousers with gusto.
Well, I think it was more me hurling myself
Gussito.
Me hurling myself around the disco in an attempt to dance like a 12-year-old. That probably was the bit that destroyed my trousers.
You shouldn't slut drop in shiny trousers.
I should not slut drop.
Absolutely not.
I don't even know what a slut drop is, but I was probably doing one. That's what I'm going to say. I could not perform such a move sober.
No.
And
no, absolutely not. You couldn't.
No.
But you did it drunk.
I did it drunk, yes. I was skidding around on my knees like you see kids running up and down the hall.
Doing a power slide.
Power slide, yeah. And for those about to rock, we salute you kind of moves. It was.
May I suggest elephant pants?
Elephant pants. I was one step away from doing a cock push-up. That's all I'm saying.
One's all you need.
Yeah, one is all you need. So that's been our sort of New Year's Eves. I think my main takeout for that is that I would recommend not to go by yourselves unless if that is your jam,
unless
then
you're
great.
Feeling brave, great.
But if you're a little bit more social and you like to have connections before you rock up and play with people, I think going with at least some people, even if it's not a play situation, but that I think will help ease you into that situation. And I guess, we've said that before with clubs, and that's sometimes a good way, I think. But I think with New Year's Eve, the pressure might be more on to play. And I wouldn't want to sort of put people in a situation where they feel they have to play because it's New Year's Eve and we got to see it in with a bang and all this kind of thing.
Well, I've got some questions, actually.
Well, okay.
Do you have questions lined up?
I have questions and
I haven't
thoughts
seen your spidery notes.
All right, then.
But I have questions which have occurred to me.
Okay.
I've put myself in the shoes of a listener.
Can they wait for a moment? Is that all right? Can I go through these things? Okay.
I won't interrupt your creative flow.
So, Mrs. By a Winker, part of our community, said, or her advice.
Oh, you have advice.
Advice and comments.
Gosh,
yeah,
well
not many, but I
organised.
have some. So she said, pace yourself. I found that people do drink a lot more on New Year's Eve. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, so wise.
That is very...
Only I'd heard this 2 years ago.
Yes. If only you had heard that.
If only.
Every New Year's Eve.
Or indeed,
Not just 2
any
years.
club.
Any club night, any occasion
Mrs.
whatsoever.
Byron could just follow me around with this little mantra every time I change.
I thought you were going to say with a drink.
No, because that's not what I need. I need her to be there going, by the way, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Damn it, there I go again. I've got it wrong.
See, what I want is like a cocktail wench that can appear and provide me with
Last thing you
cocktails. It's like when we did that golf thing and we went to that crazy golf and then they just follow you around and they'd be like, cocktail? And you'd be like, yep. And then by the time you got to the next hole, they brought the cocktail to you. This is what I need.
No.
Constantly in my life. So Kate asked, do people try to be fucking when the clock strikes?
I mean, it's like a competition. You have to do that.
Yeah, you got a climax on the last gong.
I mean, are you really doing like swing a New Year right if you're not like balls deep into someone else's wife when the clock strikes 12?
I think what I have witnessed happen is it tends to be much more that people celebrate New Year, the clock goes, and then there is
scurry off into rooms.
Yeah, it's like, quick, let's get, like, they'll make out and then it's like, oh, this is on, let's go, let's do this. So I think, a few people in our group said, don't be surprised that, that there's a open and sprint to play, often a sprint to playrooms at midnight. I think that's,
I think that's probably, I think we probably did the same.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We all went, hooray, right, let's go to a playroom. I don't know why we had to we could have gone earlier, maybe like 10 p.m. and then done that and come back.
Well,
but we were having a good time beforehand, though.
I agree.
Chatting and socialising.
So what I've written now looks like some chicks don't have dicks, but what I've actually written is some clubs don't have clocks.
So are you prepared to accept your writing is that of a dead spider?
No, it's not. It's perfect. I understood it perfectly when I reread it again. And some people had mentioned that they'd missed the striking of midnight because they were playing at that moment. And we've done that ourselves. So
yeah, we did.
If that is an important part of your New Year's Eve,
if that's what you want to do,
set your clock.
We had to actually set a clock, didn't we, for the house party one?
Exactly. Because that was important. We took a break and then went back.
Yeah, we did.
I think that's what happened.
I do quite like the pomp and circumstance of the bongs.
Well, of turning on BBC One and watching...
No, I don't particularly want to watch BBC One when I'm in a club.
No, but changing from Jaws Holland to BBC One to see the fireworks go off and go, fuck me, how much money they spend on that shit? And then do Auld Lang Syne because you forget all the words and then get on with the sexy times.
There is something quite evocative about knowing that you're seeing the end of the year out and you're starting a new one.
Yeah.
And, as much as I'm not necessarily one for ceremony and nostalgia, I often very much want to move forwards rather than live in the past. I do quite like that concept of, oh my God, it's the end of a year and now we're going to do a new year and I can't wait to spend it with you again. It's going to be amazing. And there is that lovely feeling of, here we go. Let's fucking go.
It's another year where I ebb closer and closer to 50.
That's the spirit, babe. That's the spirit. Some of us already pipped that post.
I know. Some of us are sprinting
and are
past
already
it.
looking forward to the hip replacements. So.
So Mr. L said, book taxis early and be prepared to be shocked at the cost.
Oh, that is such good advice, though. Get your transport sorted.
Get your transport sorted.
If you can.
Or be close enough to the club or
that
venue that you
helps.
can walk to the hotel.
In which case, my second hint would be take some fucking flat shoes.
Well, right. How many times have you said this?
If you're going to have to hobble back to a hotel.
Right. How many times have you said this? And how many times have you actually taken the flat
quite
shoes?
a lot. I have.
I don't believe this for a moment.
I want an apology. I did it.
No. No, I don't believe I've ever
definitely
seen one of
taken
them.
my own advice because I struggle. If
I know
don't.
you struggle with shoes.
Also, just nipping in with some other free advice here.
Yep.
If you're a contact lens wearer, take some glasses with you.
Yes, not yours. Just take anyone's.
No, just take anyone's.
Go on
Just nick their
Specsavers.
glasses.
Just steal them.
Throw your lenses away. Because I can't get past like 1 a.m. without my eyes going, take me out. I can't wear these lenses anymore. So I took glasses last year and it was a godsend.
That's funny because you can't often get past 11 p.m. without your pants going, take me off.
Do you know what? I've had this sass.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a little bit turned on now and you want to go and do a sex on me.
Only because you talked about John Wick.
So that's terms of questions and thoughts that I had from the community.
Right, I've got
there was just a few, but what's your question?
One of my questions, actually, if I was a nervous newcomer or a nervous...
Nervous heavy comer.
Oh my God. If I was a heavy comer... Actually, this is a horrible, gross conversation, but if I was a heavy comer, I wouldn't be nervous. I'd be like fucking parading everywhere. Like, look at this. Well, surely it's something to boast about.
Is it though?
Because you're going to be like, guess what I have?
Lots of jizz?
Special move.
A special move is like a weighty amount of jizz.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to be sick out my nose. Let's move on.
Where are you putting that jizz to get it out your nose?
Stop. Ooh. So if I was a nervous newcomer to a lifestyle New Year's Eve,
yep.
Right, let me get this back in the room. I would be asking questions like, okay, what I don't know what to wear. And I know we have this conversation about multiple club nights anyway, but New Year for me seems like an extra level of preparation. And what do I wear?
I think you can't.
Do you theme it? Do you dress to impress?
I think it's a dress to impress occasion.
Super dress to impress,
I think it is. I think if you're a man, it's like tux. Go all out suit or whatever. If you're me, a sparkly suit or something, I don't know, a John Wick suit. If you're a lady, I think we're talking like, you're going
really
out.
Go for it.
Really go for it. You can't sparkle enough, I reckon, for New Year's Eve. And I would say, have some, if you bring in some sparkles or some gold into the outfit, this is the night to do that. If you're going to get away with it on any, unless of course, caveat this, that the club that you're going to has a theme for that night.
Yes.
So just check that before you go. Check that you don't need to book tickets. Because for Extasia, you just rock up and you buy your tickets when you're there. Don't forget your members card. That's important, as we found out and queued for ages trying to get through. However, what I'd say is check the thing or the website to see if there is a special dress code or whatever. But I would say if you're going to go to New Year's Eve and go to a club on that night, it's a dress to impress situation. I don't think you can overdress for it. Like if you've reached Elton John's fifth stage change costume,
you're pretty much there, babe.
I think you may have gone slightly too far. Yeah, dial that back like 3 or 4%, and you're probably going to be fine. If you are hitting the heights of Liberace, you're probably gone a bit too nuts. Maybe. But if you feel suave and sexy and sophisticated. So I think there is a sophistication to New Year's Eve. In my head, that's what I see, or when I think of New Year's Eve. There is that. And I think if you do that, you'll be fine. I'd say, fellas, if you're going to dress down, you could bring some nice sliders or shoes or whatever to wear, and maybe some like nice shorts that you can change into. And ladies, some wonderful underwear, preferably sparkly. Why not? Because it's New Year's Eve and you're dressing to impress. And as Mrs. H said, the flats will help you get through the journey home, because that's an important part of your costume repertoire.
All right. So I'm still a nervous newcomer.
Okay.
Heavy comer, whatever.
All right.
And now I'm thinking, well, okay, been to clubs before, but I've never been to a club on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. Is there anything different about a club on New Year's Eve, and what should I expect?
So I think that New Year's Eve can go one of two ways, right? It can feel like any other night. Same as when you go out to a club on New Year's Eve. Some nights, if it feels like a regular night, you're going to feel a bit disappointed, I think.
Okay.
So, if you go in expecting it to be like every other night, then if it's better than that, that's a good thing. I think in my experience, though, most of the time it's been pretty jumping. And there is a kind of, I say, a euphoria in the air, because it's like a celebratory thing. You're in a sex club, people are feeling sexy, people are dressed up, they're dressing to impress, they're looking to make connections, and they're looking to celebrate and see the new year in with friends and friends they're yet to meet. So I think that does generate a bit of a thing. What we found when the ball drops, I said the ball drops, that's a very New York thing, isn't it?
You're saying this. I haven't seen a ball.
when my balls drop, I'll let you know my voice.
You'll fall out of your split trousers.
Like, yikes, good. My voice looking like that. But when the clock strikes midnight, we've found that it tends to be very People get very excited. There was certainly last year, there was a lot of kissing, there was a lot of making out, a lot of, because we knew, I don't think people outside of our circle really joined in that with us, but people were certainly enjoying the moment that hit and enjoying the freedom that came with it and making out with different people. It was really difficult because I wasn't looking beyond our group, but it's certainly the atmosphere in there did feel quite electric and quite exciting because it's like, hey, new year, goodbye old crappy year, hello new awesome year that's probably not going to be crappy, and hey, sexy lovely people that were friends are with us, and isn't that fun, and let's all get excited about it. I think there was that in the air, but I think if you go in expecting that, and it's hard not to if you've experienced it once, I think then you may be disappointed, because if you don't have those connections, if you don't have your friends with you, or if you're just going by yourself, I think it may be hard to get into that spirit of it. So my take would be, like everything lifestyle related, go in with zero expectations, and anything more than zero is a fucking win, right?
How do I pace myself so I'm not like being sick, but by midnight?
Well,
or sleep under a pile of coats.
I don't think you've ever managed this. However,
God damn you. I have. Last year I was impeccably behaved.
You were relatively well behaved.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was like a saint last year.
You were way more drunk than me.
No, I was just so well behaved as well. Anyways, my point is, I think one of the things you can do is make sure that you have regular drinks of water. So if you are drinking, why not mix it up? And every drink or other drink.
That's why I go wrong every year and mix it.
Well, mix it. Well, I think, we've certainly managed a lot better when we've had a glass of water in between each drink, or in between every 2 drinks. That certainly helped us sort of pace things and just be a little bit more careful. Of course, you could not drink, but I can't see that happening on New Year's Eve for us in particular. No. So I think it's just being really mindful. The problem is if you're with someone and you get drunk, and then someone goes, "You're drunk," your reaction to that is never, ever, ever going to be good.
No, it's not. I have one more question.
Okay.
If you were going to make some sexy New Year's resolutions, and I don't really go for New Year's resolutions because I never keep them. But if you were going to make some sexy New Year's resolutions, what do you think people might pick as a sexy New Year's resolution?
What would other people pick, or what am I picking?
Oh.
Peter Piper picked a pepper, pick a penis.
Do you think it's a good opportunity then maybe to make some New Year's resolutions for your lifestyle journey?
I think it's always good to have stuff that you can look forward to. And if you've got experiences in your head that you want to make happen, then it's not a terrible way to kind of reaffirm those things. I think, as you go along and you're having your conversations, if something pops up, then it's probably worth having that chat with your partner. But actually, New Year's Eve is a pretty good time to use it as an excuse to bring that up. So it makes having that convearson less difficult.
Tick off all things you haven't managed to achieve.
Yeah, and I think you could turn around and kind of go, right, okay, what are your sexy New Year's resolutions? Yeah. And then it gives you the chance to tell yours and talk about your resolutions.
Start by making one now.
Well, go on then. What's yours?
I
need to know. What are yours?
I don't have any.
You got to make them now. It's too late. You've asked.
No.
Go on.
No.
Go on. You asked me the question, so
I didn't have any answers for myself.
Oh, go on. You've got to answer it. Go on.
I can't think of any on the spot.
You got to do it.
Don't put me on the spot.
You put yourself. You did this to yourself.
I have a high ground.
You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
I'm very happy to join the Sith.
I know you are. You would immediately fold.
I'm already there.
I know.
I'm going to their New Year's Eve party.
The Emperor would be like, join and you'd be, I'm in, but I have not given my speech.
Their New Year's Eve party is like kicking. You want to go there. Red hot.
It is lava.
You'll be up there with your fancy Backstreet Boys, like angelic one in the pearly gates, like having some flipping New Year's Eve party that's all like fluffy clouds, and I'll be down there with like my red hot ghost chili wings.
They say the Jedi cannot have love, but does that not mean they can have sex? Just lots and lots of sweet Jedi sex.
Sith only deals in absolutes.
There you go. So you can have it all or nothing. Lucky then. Anyways,
have it all.
What will be your New Year's Eve?
I don't have any right now. I will think about it, reflect on it, and I will come back to you with a list.
All right, Grumpy McGrumpus.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay, shall I throw some at you?
Lose weight, maybe. There you go.
Okay,
so I look better naked? That's sexy.
You always look nice naked. There we go. I'm not preventing you from going out and going for a run and changing your diet, though.
Tough Ross.
You could get started on that now.
Oh.
Literally, like tomorrow.
Why are you attacking me?
I'm not attacking
feeling
you.
very
I'm just saying,
now.
as a New Year's resolution, you don't have to
Well,
wait
it's
until
only
next
November,
year.
so that can piss off now.
No, you can.
I'll think about it.
You could get a whole month of that in before you get to a month or 6 weeks or whatever it is, and then you could be feeling much more confident about yourself before you get to New Year's Eve.
You are, of course, correct.
It is course correction, I think you'll find. See, you could do that. You could. What else did you want to do?
He said in not at all a patronising way.
No, not at all.
See, you could do that.
You could totally do that. You said that you love going for a run and eating lots of nice things. Yeah, no. But you could also have a look at your solo dates if you wanted to carry on pursuing that. Just have a look at
Admire them online.
Yes, you could commit to answering messages on.
Now listen here,
the apps.
you.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
I'll have you know, I did some fabmin.
You did one
this
with one couple. One couple.
and last week.
Because I told you to.
No.
Do you know, it was so, we met a really, really lovely couple quite recently.
We did
brand
meet
new
a
couple.
lovely
Well, not say
couple,
brand new, but brand new to us.
I did the dating arrangement. Thank you very much.
So,
you're welcome, Karen. Thank you.
Let me tell you what happened, gentle listener, because I feel like I should clarify this moment. They sent us a really nice message, and I said, you should reply to this. And then they got really excited because you actually sent the message.
I did reply.
Yes, I know. And I was like, well, I know she replied. Do you know how much pushing and shoving I had to do to get you to do it?
True. I did it off my own bat.
Did you? Okay. So what about the 3 messages that have sat in Swing Hub for
I don't look at Swing Hub.
2 weeks
You're asking
waiting
me to do way too much here, babe.
But I told you they were there.
I can only manage one site at a time.
You can't even do that. Honestly, you only had to reply to those. And I got...
I don't know how to reply to messages on Swing Hub.
I got fed up waiting today and I actually jumped on and replied to them. Yeah, I was like, well, I'm going to do this.
I don't get notifications for that. I don't.
Do it on 2.0. Oh, yeah, Swing Hub's 2.0. We'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure.
I don't get notifications. So maybe it's out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, I see. So you could check it once a day. Because you find time to do Duolingo, play Candy Crush, find hidden cats in Spooky Town, sit with Noodle on your lap, watch fucking Gary Eats for half an hour. So if you can do all those things, you can dedicate 5 minutes to responding to the sites.
Done?
No, I'm far from done. No, not really. I mean, your resolutions are your resolutions. I can merely suggest them and offer some suggestions, though I suspect that the merest hint of suggestion, you're going to tell me to fuck off. So I shall shut up now in
all
terms
your
of...
suggestions are noted.
Are they? And then thrown
and
immediately
acknowledged.
in the bin. Shut up, suggestions, get in the fucking bin.
What are yours then?
Mine.
Smartass?
Okay, so I think for mine, I would like... to encourage you to reply to messages more. I think it would be nice to meet some new couples.
Right.
I
mean, we did that recently very well.
Yes, we did that.
Did it brilliantly.
We did that very well. I think I'd like to do that a bit more. I think it would probably be interesting for us to go to some clubs and stuff and just explore around that, because we haven't done that by us. Maybe not necessarily by ourselves, but maybe putting ourselves in those slightly more uncomfortable situations and continue sort of going out of our way to speak to new people. We've kind of got slightly better at it recently, but not in any sort of measurable sense. So I think there's a bit of that. I think the solo dating thing might come back into play at some point. It'll be interesting to see how we go with that. Since every fucker and the dog asks you for a solo date. It's like, hey, we'd love a solo date with Mrs. H. And then they turn around and go, maybe you once.
This is not true.
Maybe
no, you need to stop that. That is not the case at all, and you know it.
Sometimes it is true. Sometimes it is true that
definitely, I have been there and borne witness to at least 3 occasions when you've been asked if you want to go on a single date.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We shall see. However, I suspect it's something that we shall pick back up in the coming months and stuff and see how things go. I'm also kind of just, in terms of my own fitness, I've been doing, I'd done like 3-4 weeks of really, really good training. I was feeling really good. And then I hurt my fucking foot. So the physio tomorrow, hopefully they'll put me right. But I've been still doing like weights and lifting stuff, but just not using my legs, which is frustrating because like that's the real sort of, the calorie burner and all that sort of stuff. And I had been getting a bit more cardio. I've been doing like 4 or 5 times a week. And then I'd been doing 20 minutes of cardio every day. It was like pretty good. And my diet was good, but diet Monday to Friday tends to be all right. And then it's the weekend hits properly and then it kind of goes a bit out the window. It does. However, I think, it'd be good to make sure I continue that. So it's not so much a New Year's resolution, but I'm conscious that we've got some fun stuff going on next year and I want to be in good sort of show off shape for it rather than just like, hey, I'm okay and I'm trying and I feel better because I'm trying. Shape. That makes sense. See, that wasn't so difficult. He said patronizingly. So I think one of the things that I want to say about New Year's Eve is that I know it is a really difficult time for people, much like Christmas, and can be quite an emotive time. And I remember years ago, I was on my own for New Year's Eve. And actually, it was one of the most emotionally stressful times that I've ever had. And, I it was just crazy. And I just ended up sort of wallowing in a large vat of self-pity and not knowing which way to turn, where to go for it. So what I would say is, if you think that you're going to end up in that space, if you can see it coming, and sometimes you can, reach out to your friends, reach out to your families and make the most of resources that are available out there. Seek help and try and do something that kind of gets you engaged with a community or with other people. And even if it is going to a club by yourself, it's better than sitting there and reflecting on your own. Yeah, I think I'd urge anyone that's really struggling over this time, if you find you are, reach out to us, reach out to the other podcasters if we're not your jam, and I'm sure everyone will be available to, we're not going to solve your problems, but I'm sure that we can offer advice and listen. And as per normal, we try and do something nice for like Christmas Day. That episode will hopefully be around for you to hear again on New Year's Eve. So I would say, please don't let yourself slip into a really dark place. Please reach out to the people that can help you and make the most of your support network. Most people have family, friends, or someone that they can turn to. And don't be shy in reaching out and making the most of that situation. Is that fair? Would you add anything to that?
No, I think you've summed it all up.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Well, I think then for New Year's Eve, we're going to Extasia. We're going to go up to Brum.
We are.
Got a dog sitter. It's going to be great. We're not bringing Yoko with us. The cat's going to be looked after. The cat's coming with us. The cat is not coming with us, I can assure you. So we're going to have I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm feeling really positive about it. I'm glad that we've got a number of people that we know going along, and that's always really helpful for me and my perspective. I think I need to work out what the hell my outfit's going to be and whether I need a new shiny suit, maybe.
You don't need more.
It needs to be sparklier, more sparkle, shiny sparkle.
So many sparkly things ready.
I do, I know, and I can have more. That's the great thing about greed, is it encourages you to have more shine, more sparkle.
You definitely don't need more.
I'll set up a GoFundMe.
Please do. Please.
It might as well be a go fuck yourself, Mr.
Get
Rich.
the general public to support this obsession, this absolute addiction you have.
I don't have an addiction. I think the reason I like this stuff, as I've said before, is that as a chap, you don't often get the chance to dress up and look great and have shiny things or sparkly things and just enjoy yourself in that way. So I like these occasions that give me an opportunity to do that, because my day-to-day life is pretty boring. It's like joggers and a t-shirt is my work attire half the time.
So going back, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't choose to wear any of these things.
No, I didn't.
What has changed? Why have you suddenly launched yourself into Elton Johnisms?
Well, you can never know what it's like. I think there is something about finding the confidence to do it. And
are you saying you weren't confident 5 years ago?
Maybe. And I also think there is a bit of putting my money where my mouth is and practicing what I preach. I know it's a conversation starter. I know
sure is.
But I know it also says that it's okay for other men to and women to wear this stuff. And I'm not. It's really not Elton Johnny. It might be a step towards that beyond a plain suit, but it's certainly not giant glasses and feather boas.
No, I know, but it is definitely very. What's the word? Magnificent in your attire. You have definitely ramped up the sparkle factor.
I think,
over the last 2 years. Really.
Over the last couple of years. And I think it's the fact that I feel more confident and comfortable wearing it. I think we've given, because we are controlling the events as well, I have a comfort going that knowing that we've designed the way those things are going to come across and what they're going to look like. So like Winter Wonderland, Candyland as well. And I think it's...
Oh my God, I dread to think what you're going to fuck out for
Everything
that.
it takes, Willy Wonka makes, and all that stuff.
Lord, what are you going to bring out?
It's going to be satisfying and delicious, by the way. I think there is just something about the fact that I feel comfortable with our group of people and confident. And I just want to show other people that they can wear what they want to. Now, you know, I don't want to be so extra that I'm looking utterly, and you may argue that I look utterly ridiculous, but I'd like to think that I walk a fine line on it. And actually, it's quite a nice thing to do. So that's kind of where it comes from. I think there is a hunger for it because I've never been able to do it before. Whereas I think, you know, women get to wear nice underwear, they get nice shoes, they get to do their hair lots because often they have long hair and lots of options on that. Whereas men don't tend to, you know, you can't even, there's not even like much jewelry you can wear that's fun and whatever. It's so.
You don't wear jewelry anyway. But.
No, I don't, because it drives me mad. I don't know things are on me like that. I'm like, but from a clothes perspective, I do enjoy that. And I kind of like the challenging other people that comes with it as well. It's like, hey, well, I've worn this. What are you going to show up as? Or in, you know. I'm wearing Oppo
there's
suits.
Nothing I can wear that will outshine this.
Well, that's you know, it's not that I want.
You've even outsparkled me.
Well, maybe on occasion, but I'm not doing it to outsparkle people. I'm just doing it because I like the fun of it, and I like the sense of other people can see that and go, you know what? As a guy, it's okay for me to wear something a bit different. It doesn't mean that they're like, because guys sometimes get to the point where they're like, oh, it's gay if you wear a suit like that, or it's gay if you do this, or but you know, those conversations I've had with work colleagues and that sort of stuff before. So for me, if we challenge just a little bit of that, and I think we have a due diligence as content creators to do that, then why not? Why not put it out there and make someone's world a little bit better, eh?
Yep, I get you.
Then. Cool. Well, do your thing, wife.
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
Have you got a joke?
God.
Do you have a joke for me? Is there a joke? And do you have a joke? And what's the joke for me?
Wow, now you ask.
Do you have to scroll for ages on your phone, or do we have to wait?
No, of course I can definitely give you a joke.
Okay.
Let's see.
What was that Yoda noise? Found a joke I have. Reveal it to you, I shall.
Okay, I've got my joke. Are you ready for this? This joke is quite good because it's themed around something you said to me earlier this evening. Yes, so I threw a surprise bukkake party for my boss's wife. The whole office came. You should have seen her face.
Dear.
Oh, come on, that's good. You actually did.
Yeah,
I've
read that very joke this week, and I laughed then as well.
But you definitely looked like you were trying to stifle a laugh so as not to be all like, yeah, well, fuck it, that's funny. All right, fine. I admit it was funny.